Hello and welcome. We're going to be traveling back into the 1990s today and talking about extreme sports with Brink.
To Andy Brinker and his friends, rollerblading is about living life on the edge. Brace yourself for Brink, a Disney Channel original movie. Coming up next.
This movie was released in 1998 during a time that we'll know later on, because we have a lot more films to talk about during this era, where everything was extreme and sports were all about extreme, and this film is no different. It's all about extreme rollerblading.
Hey, can I give you some advice? Skate better.
Skate better. Skate better. Mom, skate better. Well, there you go. All I have to do is skate better.
This film stars Eric Von Driven, who we also know from Toy Story. He played Sid. So it's cool to see the connections between Pixar and Disney DComs and different Disney movies.
Where are your rebel friends now?
Your Pop-Tarts are ready. All right.
We'll soon see as well that we have a lot of recurring cast in a lot of these Disney Channel original movies. So even though Eric Von Driven didn't do that much after Brink in the Disney Channel original movies we're going to talk about, we do have a couple of cast members that we'll see again, as well as other films we'll be talking about down the road. Christina Vidal, who wasn't in any other Disney DComs that we're talking about, but she was in Freaky Friday, which we're going to be talking about a little bit later on. And she also did the leads in Taina, which is Nickelodeon, but I feel like that is such a pivotal sitcom, if you remember during that time in the early 2000s. That was something that I actually watched a lot of times, so I didn't realize it was her until today. So I think it's cool to share it. And then we have Katie Boulding, who also is in Smart House. So we'll talk about her a little bit later on. She plays little sister in Smart House, and she plays little sister in this, so great typecasting. Our plot here is that Brink is a rollerblader and he's a soul skater, and there's this whole entire message involved within this storyline about how you want to skate for your soul and you don't want to make money doing it because that's selling out, and selling out is bad.
Alright, give me some shots of the skate. Make sure you get the skate and get Val center. Val, look hip. Come on, look edgy. Look good. Good. Sell it. Come on, work it.
Team X Blades. Forget them. But we still got the pit, right? Come on, Big Pete. I want to see a 540. Let's go.
But they're also against a rival team that is sponsored, and they're trying to lure him onto the team. He ends up joining temporarily just to make some money for his family, to prove that this is something worth doing, as well as helping them out after his dad lost their job, and he has to dealing with the sponsorship and having the money, or going with his friends and having their support. And between these two, that's the central conflict with him, and he's trying to figure out how to balance everything. And this is an idea that was a really big deal back then, because you have this idea about selling out. Selling out is really bad and you don't want to sell out. And I know it's still something today, but not as much anymore as an aesthetic idea. This idea is still somewhat present today, but it's not as huge as it was 20 years ago, especially with that whole skate movement and the ska movement, because even there was a song by Real Big Fish, who is just a really huge popular ska band, called Sell Out.
Sell out with me, oh yeah, sell out with me tonight. The record companies only give me lots of money and everything's gonna be alright.
And it was just this huge thing, and now that I am old enough to know what it means to make money and to make money doing what you love, I don't understand why this is a huge thing. Obviously you want to be able to enjoy what you do and be proud of the work you put into it. But if you're making money from it, then it shouldn't matter, as long as you're not going against your dignity or whatever respect you have, and you're not doing something just because you know it's going to make you $1 million. And obviously that's selling out and you don't want to sell out. But the difference is he's a skater and he wants to get a sponsorship so he can get new blades and new merchandise and to practice more and to become a better skater, but he's still doing what he loves. So I don't understand where the selling out is for him. Honestly, I still was questioning why this movie doesn't make sense to me, because everyone was like, no, you can't do this, skating isn't the greatest, and how it's just a hobby and everyone's against skateboarding and skating. But honestly, in reality, 5 years down the road, it was a huge deal, and it was a huge deal back then, but it was still a huge deal, especially with MTV, because then you had Jackass and you had People of Bam and that whole crew of who are also professional skaters. We had all the Tony Hawk skating games that were a huge deal, and different things within this element that kind of were a side obsession that people went for, and it just cracks me up. I know it's a Disney original movie that's just meant for be fun, but honestly that's a big question I can't stop thinking about, being like, why was this looked down as such a bad conflict? And in the end, everything works out and everyone is great again. He gives up a sponsorship just to be a soul skater, and I kind of don't understand that idea, especially if you could use the money to survive. I could go ranting on this forever, but all in all, it is still a solid film. This movie definitely did age in a short amount of time, but it's still something to enjoy and look back upon. If you like sport movies and you like parkour, because there's a lot of parkour in here, and skating, you'll definitely enjoy this one. It's a really nice film. It has a decent message and it is a good time to watch, but if you're not a sports fan, you can skip it. This is still a really cool film because this is one of the original beginning films of a journey that we have, so it was definitely important to talk about. And tomorrow we are going to go and talk about Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century, which is also a really important DCOM that came out. So stay tuned, and as always, I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you real soon.